Fame. Here's Booker T and Brad Gilmore.
Welcome inside the Hall of Fame. I'm Booker T, 6-time world champ, 2-time Hall of Famer. Got my man Brad Gilmore here with me as always, and we're ready to do this thing, man. Ready to get right into the action. Coming to you from ESPN 97.5, 92.5. And I want to thank everybody in the chat, man, that's hanging out today, getting your champagne wishes, caviar dreams. I'm coming off of a hell of a weekend, man. Survivor Series, of course, as well as that War Games. And War Games is real near and dear to my heart. My first pay-per-view in WCW in the main event in Houston, Texas. Oh, come on. Always been a main event. But how you doing, dog? How you feel?
Hey, man, I'm doing good, Book. I'm doing good, Book. You know, coming off that Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving was great.
Yeah.
It was a nice time to spend time with the fam and recharge, relax. But get ready for the holidays. You know, I haven't done any Christmas shopping yet. I don't know how you are on Christmas. Are you a last minute guy? Or are you a 3 month in advance kind of guy?
I don't buy nobody nothing.
Well, it's easier to do that.
I talked to Charmel. I said, "Baby, what do you want? What do you want?" She said, "I just want to do this. Don't worry about me as far as the gift go." And that's just the way Charmel and I, we've always rolled. I always tell her, "Baby, don't get me nothing because I got everything I could ever want."
Right.
I really do. A gift is, it's cool. Just like she got me the Bose toner, shades, with the Bluetooth, about a month ago, which is cool. You know what I mean? We were in Vegas and she dropped that $5,000 and picked up that Louis Vuitton purse. You know what I mean? So when you shopping like that, every day is a holiday, man.
Facts.
Every day is a good day. So now, man, she says she's gonna get me something. I don't know what it is, but I'm sure it's probably gonna be a gadget. I'm the gadget man. I just ordered the another pair of toners.
Was it a different color or what? How many pairs do you need?
Not same color, just a different style.
Oh, okay, I feel you.
Yeah, the Bose, man. I don't know, man. I just feel good when I'm, like I say, walking through the airport. Boom, got the shades on. I'm just rolling. Everything feels good. Feel like I got my theme music behind me almost. You know what I mean? Still breathing. The last one breathing. You know what I mean? So yeah, man. I feel good when I get the shades on.
How was the Thanksgiving though? Did you get the turducken this year?
Man, you know what, man? We picked up some grub from this spot called Mickey's. I don't know if you've ever been there, but it's
I haven't been to Mickey's.
Soul food spot near the Beltway of 528. Yeah, I think that is. Yeah, that's what it is. I think that's what it is. But it was off the chain. We had that fried turkey, and when we got it, of course, when you go and deal with the brothers, it's gonna be a little late. You know what I'm saying? So we got there. They say, the turkey gonna be here in 5 minutes. Normally brothers' time that means 25 minutes. You know what I mean? So we waited on the turkey, and I tell you, man, it was well worth the wait because that turkey, it didn't have no instructions or anything like that, right? How brothers are. But I say, I can feel this. I gotta feel how this thing gonna go. What time we gonna eat? We're gonna eat by 2:00. Yeah, 2:00. Okay, by 11:00, let's put it in the oven on 185. All right, and then we'll kick it up to about 200 about 12:30, and by 2:00 the meat gonna be falling off the damn bone. And I tell you, dog, it was an unbelievable fried turkey. I'm talking about the candy yams, the macaroni and cheese, the collard greens, everything, man. And Charmel made some of them ancient biscuits. She got
Ancient.
this. Well, I say ancient biscuits because the recipe go back like to the 1800s. I don't know if it go back that far, but it's one of these recipes where the grandmother left the secret sauce, right? The great grandmother, she left the secret sauce, but she didn't tell them how to condense it. So we had about 300 rolls to go along with with Thanksgiving dinner.
But hey, I mean, you were able to feed the
If you
whole
need-
Huffman household.
Look here. You need some rolls?
You still got some, I'm sure. Could have fed the whole block with 300 rolls.
My boy, you know, Charles, he came over for Thanksgiving dinner, and he left with about 10 of them. Almost like, you know, he had a brick with him leaving the house.
Charles Ray started Enterprise. You know what I mean? He was going to sell,
my
sell
God,
those
man.
biscuits.
I'm serious, man. But it was great, man. It was great. I just kicked back around the house and, you know, just relaxed more than anything.
No, it's always great to have those reboots. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I went, and I wanted to say this. And by the way, we have a big,
before you end, I know a lot of people out there wondering why I'm drinking this shake right here, why I'm drinking this protein shake. We'll get to that in a bit. Everybody probably wondering why I got my roughneck gear on right now. We'll talk about that coming up. So just stick around. You know?
Yeah.
What were you talking about?
No, I wanted to make sure that people know we're gonna have a huge announcement on the show today.
Exactly my point.
And that's what you're alluding to.
Exactly
It's a big announcement.
That is.
So make sure you stay tuned for the whole show. We're gonna definitely get into that big announcement. What I was saying is I went to, and there's a free plug for the Museum of Natural Science in Houston. They had like a King Tut exhibit, so I took my nephews to it. And the whole time they're talking about how King Tut was one of the most influential kings in Egyptian history, right? And he had this reign that, you know, changed the landscape, and he changed like the gods back to the OG gods. He did all these things, and it was a 9-year reign. And I was like, wow, man, that's a, you know, it's a lot. In 9 years, you accomplished so much.
Hell of a run.
Hell of a run. So everywhere I saw it, you know, it'd show his kind of a reign of 9 years. And then I started looking at the day that he was born, and then the year, and then the year that he died. And I put all this math together. You know what? How old he was when he took over the throne in Egypt? He was 9 years old. And then the part that tripped me out though was they're like he had a 9-year reign and died of natural causes. So I'm thinking, okay, he was king for 9 years, and then he died when he was like in the 60s or 70s or whatever. No. His reign ended because he died of natural causes at 18.
Yeah.
So I don't know if someone naturally put a blade to his back. I don't think that you die naturally at 18.
Hey, man, you know, troll times back then, man, especially when you're on the throne 9 years straight. When you're on the throne 9 years, somebody definitely gonna want to knock you off. Larry Holmes, he was on the throne for 8 years. They couldn't wait to get him off the throne. So definitely, I understand.
Well, you played a king for a year, and you said it about killed you.
Oh, I always tell people at the end of that run, I was just like, beat me, please. Somebody just beat me. Tonight, I'll lay down in the middle of the ring. You know what I mean? I'll just give you that title. I'm serious. That's the way I felt at the end of my run, man, because it's hell being king. I can only imagine, you know, with the new king over there in England, you know, how he's feeling right now. The pressure of being in that spot.
Pressure makes diamonds. Pressure makes diamonds, though, right? I mean,
yeah, it does. I don't know. We got to take a break. But guys, we got a whole lot for you here inside the Hall of Fame. Like I said, we're coming off of a Survivor Series. We got Will Smith talk. We got Colt Cabana. Almost died. Mandy Rose says she's ready. She's ready, willing, and able to step up. Oh my God, man. Stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
My name is Dan Miller, and I'm trained to be a professional wrestler here at Reality of Wrestling. Professional wrestling has been part of my life for as long as I can remember. Growing up, I would have the toys, I would have matches with stuffed animals, I had a little paper championship. I always had that voice in the back of my head saying, can you do this? Can you really be a pro wrestler? And one day that voice got so loud, I just had to know. So I did my research, and I found that Reality of Wrestling is the best training ground in the whole country. You could sit down and turn on the TV every night of the week to watch pro wrestling, and you'll see someone who got their start in this ring. Reality of Wrestling teaches you everything you need to know about the business, from putting together the ring to putting together a TV show. This is a place where you can come and work on your fundamentals, work on your body, work on your interview skills. This is a one-stop shop for everything pro wrestling. If you have that voice in the back of your head, now is the time to find out if you have what it takes here at Reality of Wrestling.
Can you dig it, sucker? Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame. Excuse me. What should we start at, Brad?
You know what? It's the topic right now of conversation. So let's jump into what went down in Boston, Massachusetts on Saturday. Survivor Series War Games emanated. Were y'all at the TD Garden?
The TD Garden.
The TD Garden Arena, home of the Boston Celtics and the checkerboard floor. You were there for the kickoff show. I know you had like an early call time, but the show, I think overall was fantastic. Like almost from top to bottom, there wasn't a bad match on the show. I mean, there were things that were not as good as others, but the War Games matches delivered, and AJ Styles and Finn Balor may have run away with it that night. The triple threat was fantastic. Austin Theory cashes in. He's the United States champion.
Yeah.
I don't know where you want to start with it, but the bloodline reigns tall. So I believe that you owe Peter Rosenberg, is it $50? Was that the bet that you made on the pre-show?
Yeah. I think it was $50. Yeah. I mean,
I saw him tweet, "Bring that money to the Rumble." So
man, it's $50. All right, it's $50. I'll give him the $50. We cool on it. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna diss. I ain't gonna be mad about it or anything like that. You know what I mean? You know, congratulations to Peter Rosenberg. He picked one right for the first time in his life. Okay, let's just get it out there. Congratulations, Peter.
Congrats, Pete. Bloodline winning, I actually was a little surprised about, because I thought in a War Games match there was a lot of, and they did a lot to further the story with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. I'm kind of seeing where a lot of this stuff is going. Like, if in my mind, if I was booking it, like where I would end up with this story in some respects. But I thought, this would have been a good time. And you tell me if you like this idea. I think this would have been a great time for Sheamus to be the one victorious for his team of the Brawling Brutes in the War Games, and then him and Roman go on to have a banger at the Royal Rumble. Because we've talked about how Sheamus has had a renaissance, a Sheamus-sance, if you will, here in 2022. He had that great match with Gunther. And I think, man, him and Roman will tear it up because they've done it before. There's story there. Do you like this idea? I like them together.
You know what? I do, but you got to wonder how much interest would have been there for that match. With Roman being kind of like on an island of his own right now. Not that Sheamus couldn't have stepped in there and that couldn't have been a great match, but I'm talking about interest from the public eye, the universe. Did they want to see that match? And that's why I question it. Could Sheamus step in there and get the job done? Yeah, I think so. But I don't know. I don't know. Me personally, I wouldn't book those two together right now.
Well, the reason I say that is because when you go into Royal Rumble, which is going to be the next pay-per-view, typically you don't have too much change on the show, on the card, right? As far as where the championships are, where the stories are going. They're kind of it's kind of a one-off encounter. Like, for instance, Bob Holly and Brock Lesnar wrestled for the WWE Championship at the Royal Rumble. It's kind of like the show is really about the Royal Rumble match more than anything else.
I get it. Mm-hmm.
So you need Roman to have somebody on that show.
No, I totally agree. But I think with Roman, I think the interest with Roman is having that ability to be able to mix it up. You know what I mean? If you could find me somebody fresh for Roman, that Roman could actually get another win over to pad his stats just a little bit more, opposed to just beating Sheamus. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because who thinks Sheamus is going to actually win that match? You know what I mean? That's my question. So therefore, me personally, I would go a different direction. I'd be looking for another Logan Paul. You know what I mean? I'd be looking for somebody to throw in.
There's always Jake.
Yeah, right. No, I'm serious.
I saw a video of Jake Paul at the Saudi show. I guess he was standing backstage with Brock Lesnar, and and Brock was talking to him, and Jake goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, man. I'm really nervous." Like he was super nervous to go out there and do his little spot on the show. But I mean, for Roman, I still let me ask you this, because it's been a while since we've seen him. Rumors are Royal Rumble might be the return where we finally get to see Cody Rhodes again. Um, do you think that's still the match to make it WrestleMania? Is Cody and Roman?
You know what? I don't know if I'll come back with it that quick. I know that's the match that everybody want to see. I know that's the match that we've been building up to. But I don't know if I would want to put Cody in that situation fresh off an injury. You know what I mean? And I'm saying that, just watching, Britt Baker and Saraya, let's just take them for instance,
Right.
Saraya being out for 5 years and then trying to step back in. And let me even, let's kill that and put myself in that situation when I came back and wrestled Rex Andrews after a couple of years, right? And we get to the spot where I'm supposed to do the Spinaroonie drop kick spot, and I tell Rex Andrews, throw that drop kick out because I know I can't do it. I'm dead. I got to get one revolution out of this Spinaroonie.
You got it.
And it was the worst one I ever did. I was like, God, please help me. So I understand, coming back off an injury. So that's where I would, question, throwing Cody right. And the thing is, I know this is wrestling. Can I see him in that position? Can that actually happen? Yes, it could. I'm just speaking from, my perspective and knowing what the legs are like, in that situation, and not just what the legs are like in that situation, but having to carry it from that point on. I remember coming back from my first knee injury, and I was like, man, couldn't wait to get back. You know what I mean? I couldn't wait to get back. I had been on the treadmill. I had been on the bike. I'd been riding it. I'd been, I thought my stamina was up, man. I got in the ring on a house show, and I thought I was going to die. Like, what the heck is going on here? You know what I mean? So it is, it's different. It's different being out of the ring. Time off is your worst enemy. And to come back into a situation, we'll talk about that in a little bit with Colt Cabana. You know what I mean? Being out of the ring and then stepping back into the ring. What could actually happen to you? So yeah, totally understand.
Well, then I think Roman have one of the most historic reigns in company history right now. I mean, 2+ years, badass, really solidified himself as an all-timer, at least in this era. So my question is, who is the guy then? Because eventually he has to lose, right? And you want that loss to elevate someone to the next level. So if it's not Cody, I don't know who it is.
Can you smell what I'm cooking, baby?
I mean, but should The Rock beat him for the title?
I don't know. You know what I mean? It could be one of those things like when I won the title at Reality of Wrestling and just left it in the ring, just had to show him.
Show him you could do it.
Could be one of those type of deals. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of layers there, bro. It's a lot of layers, And you don't want to beat Roman too soon.
It's been 2 years, 2.5.
My point. I don't care how long it is. The reign can go as long as it can go. Like I say, Bruno was champion for what, 8 years?
Yeah, it's a different era, though.
Different era, different time. What I'm saying is, it's no time limit on it. Losing it too soon, it's a time limit on that. Having it too long, who cares? I mean, it's just going to be a lot of people upset that you're not dropping the title. Who cares about that? Are we making money? Are the houses selling out? Oh, we good. You know what I mean? So it's Survivor Series. It was a sold out house. It was sold out. You know what I mean? So that's where you and I differ opinions sometimes.
No, I don't differ. I just know that he has to lose it eventually.
I feel that way too. But it's got to be the right person. I mean, it really does. It can't be just anybody. It's got to be the right person for the right reasons, because right now we're in a different time. We're in a different time, and you got to be very, very strategic, I mean, as far as making those kind of moves, especially with somebody like Roman, because you don't want to have to. Roman is not the type of guy you want to try to build up all over again. To have to go chase the championship.
No, I definitely get it. I mean, and I understand.
That's why he's held it for as long as he has. You know what I mean? Roman is not your regular average Joe out there doing this. You know what I mean? So you got to be what I feel as a promoter. You got to be protect that guy and make sure you protect him properly, because there again, you know, he's feeding people.
No, I get it. I definitely get it. And I understand what you're saying when you say you can't make it too soon. Like, you can't cut it off too soon, because once he does lose those 2.5 years, it's not like you can just do another 2.5 year run. This is a once in a lifetime, never going to happen again for Roman in his career run. Right.
Yeah.
So I understand. I definitely get what you're saying. And you know what? I don't know. I don't think The Rock's definitely the guy to beat him.
Look, I didn't say The Rock. Look,
no, I know.
I didn't say that.
I'm thinking out loud of like who.
Look, somebody's going to say it. Somebody's going to say it.
We have people in the chat already saying it.
Yeah. We got to take a break. Stick around, guys. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
What's going on? It's WWE superstar Apollo Crews here. I just want to talk for a minute about what the Indies meant to me. Traveled up and down the road for a long time, and they meant so much to me. It was a huge part of getting me to where I am today, and that is a part of the WWE. I actually did some work with Booker in Houston, drove from Atlanta. Those drives, I feel like those drives that we take, 14-hour drives, those type of things develop some kind of character in you that you can't find anywhere else. The Indies mean a lot to me. Got to travel to Japan, Europe, UK, toured all over, and for me, it was just a huge part of helping me become the superstar that I am today. So I'm very grateful that I got to experience the Indies, and that's it for me.
What's up, this Booker T, two-time Hall of Famer. I know you're checking out The Shine, checking out The Gloss. I want to thank you guys for checking out Row on YouTube. Hey, don't forget to click and subscribe to check out all the latest content right here each and every week. Now, can you dig that, sucker? Can you dig it, sucker?
You're listening to the Hall of Fame. Here's Booker T and Brad Gilmore.
Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. I'm Booker T, 6-time world champ, 2-time Hall of Famer. Got my man Brad Gilmore here with me, and we just chopping it up, talking about a little bit of Survivor Series, what's going on with Roman Reigns. What should happen with Roman Reigns? Should he or should he not lose that championship? That's the question. And we talked about those 2 titles. We talked about that before.
I know.
You know what? We wouldn't be in this position, you know, if we did things a little bit more my way. But that's another story. That's another story.
I do understand. I understand what you're. And I told you recently, I agree now that the 2 titles, you know, it hadn't even been a year with them.
You know what?
So
you know what?
right.
All this means that I was right again.
Okay.
That's all this means.
You know how like you could be like, you know, humble and being correct.
I'm not gonna be humble. I'm not gonna be humble.
You can just be like, yeah, you know what? I appreciate you for acknowledging.
I'm not gonna be humble to the internet world either. You know what I mean? That always, talk about me, always want to put me down. You know what I mean? Talk about it. Don't even know the man and want to talk about it. You know what I mean? But normally, give it 6 months. Give it 3 to 6 months.
Oh, I agree.
And then you're gonna be saying, man, Booker's right again. He was right again. You know what I mean? So hey man, I'm gonna just keep doing what I do. That's all.
I don't disagree with you. And and I do think that if anyone wants to tweet out something about Book, like just like I said, wait 3 to 6 months and see if your tweet still will hold up. You know, man, if that criticism still holds up.
Normally it doesn't.
Normally it doesn't. It's true.
Normally it doesn't. I mean,
and I'm not just saying it because like, oh, I gotta say it. No, I mean, normally it's true. Normally it holds up.
Hey, bro.
Things that I'm so passionate about, where I feel so strongly about, I realize, okay, you know what? He was right on that one. But it happens most times. It does. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah,
but sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it doesn't. I can't think of a specific example. But sometimes it does.
Exactly. You can't.
I will tell you what I have noticed recently.
What's that?
You know how Morgan Freeman is like the voice of God, is what people call him because he was God in the movies or whatever.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like your voice is in my head when I'm talking, right? I did an interview with somebody recently, and they were asking me about stuff in wrestling, and I don't know if this is a Booker T quote or not, but I said it, and when I said it, it felt like I was channeling you. They're asking me like, what do I think of Zelina Vega as a part of this the new faction that she's with on SmackDown? And I said, man, Zelina Vega's like salt. She makes everything better. Is that something that you say? Is that something you say?
I may have said that, you know.
Because I in my head, I even said it like you in my head. I'm like, she's like salt. She makes everything better.
You know what I mean?
I don't know if that's yours or not.
That's just the way it is too, man. When you give it those, little nuggets like that, man, people go, yeah, I feel that, man. It's like shaking your quack quack. It's this one guy in the Capitol Arena. Every week we go to commercial break. He yell out as loud as he can, "Shuggy ducky whack whack." Everybody just start laughing, So it's like, yeah, man, those little nuggets like that, man, is what make the world go round. I think anyway.
What do you think? Speaking of your thoughts, what do you think of Austin Theory in a great match with Seth Rollins and Bobby Lashley, going out there and pulling it off? Theory, the new U.S. champion.
There again, right? What did I say?
Well, yeah, we were talking a couple weeks ago about his cash in, about it being, I said it was one of the worst cash ins ever, but it was the beginning. And by the way, it still is one of the worst cash ins ever. However,
no, it wasn't. It
has a payoff to it.
It wasn't. Did you go back and see the package of Theory talking about trying to cash in on Roman Reigns? How stupid that would have been. It was actually smart.
Well, he did make attempts to cash in on Reigns before.
Well, he did, but he said, it didn't work out for him. He thought about it. The story that he gave was plausible. Let's just say
I agree. I agree.
And then people were talking about, he's not the flavor of the month anymore. Vince is not around. A lot of people really, bought into that. When I'm looking at this kid and I'm saying how talented Theory is and how this guy has played ball since day one. Okay, I'm talking about. I'm not going to even get off into that. That's another story.
Well,
what
I saw a picture floating around the internet of like you in Theory from like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
At a show. Did you see that picture?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. No, but I said this kid. I said he was gonna. None of that was gonna weigh into if this guy was gonna get the rocket put on him and go straight to the moon. I look at this kid now, just a couple of nights ago, how much more mature he looked than he did just 6 months ago. This dude is literally growing in front of us, like the Brady Bunch. Okay. I know I could have used another analogy, but that's my era. Okay. We're watching this guy grow up right before our eyes, like Nick Cannon. Okay, let's say that. You know what I mean? And
hopefully Austin Theory doesn't attempt to repopulate the earth.
But this dude is going to be a major star, man. He already has all the tools. Just about sharpening those tools and priming himself and getting ready to go on a ride of a lifetime, because this guy is going to have a hell of a career. And I said all of this stuff wasn't gonna matter as far as Austin Theory and as far as how far he was going to go. I said that. I said it. Yeah, I did it. I did say that. You know what I mean? So I'm loving it, man. I'm just proud to see the kid going out there and just understanding what the work really, honestly, truly, really is.
Oh yeah, that match on Saturday was either the best match of the night or the second best behind AJ and Finn. AJ and Finn, I don't know how long they went. They must have given those guys 35 minutes. I'll have to look up the time because they went out and rocked it too. But overall, I think the Survivor Series idea to put it in War Games, to get away from the old elimination matches, which, I mean, Survivor Series has been around like 30-something years, almost 40 years. Like, it's going to get a little bit tired, that same concept after a while. This was a great idea to bring something old, make it new again, pay respects to the legend, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, a match that, like you said, you participated in on occasion in your first pay-per-view. This was a really cool It was a really cool and well done show, and I really appreciated the post match press conference that they did with the media. Really well produced, well hosted, and yeah, man, I think WWE. Somebody said in the chat earlier they're on a hell of a run. They being the entire show from Raw, SmackDown, NXT. So it's going great. Survivor Series was an awesome show.
I mean, we got to talk about the elephant in the room. The match that the internet is talking about that wasn't so great was Ronda Rousey and Shotzi.
It was not very good.
Yeah. And that's another thing, I've talked about as far as Ronda. I say Ronda's best matches that she's had, she's been in there with some major players, right?
Sure.
The time that she's gone out there and really, performed at a really, really high level, like with a Charlotte, that's going to be few and far between. You know what I mean? Shotzi is, relatively fairly new to the game, starting in 2016 on Tough Enough. So her knowledge, of being able to go out there and control a match in that situation in front of that many people is going to be pretty hard. It's going to be damn hard, to say the least. So as well as I saw the one move that they was showing online where Shotzi went for a DDT off the top rope to the apron, the hard part of the mat, and Ronda. Let me protect myself on this one. I remember Hunter calling a backdrop, and I held on to that rope so tight. I was like, man, I don't do backdrops. You know what I mean? And Ronda reminded me of me. I ain't lying. I'm serious.
I don't do backdrops. Sorry,
bro. I was like, come on here. That spot is getting a lot of attention. Go ahead.
What I'll say about it is this: you bring up some great points. Shotzi, you said started in 2016. Ronda Rousey's first match, I don't believe, was until 2018.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And even though they're both can put in phenomenal performances, I really like Shotzi. I think Shotzi is a talent in many different ways, not just in the ring, from character, from appearance, from entrance, from connection with the crowd. Like, she's awesome. But yeah, I mean, this one definitely did not hit at all. And I don't want to be overly critical, other than when she's in there with a great dance partner like a Charlotte or something like that, like at WrestleMania this year. I thought they had a good match. Ronda hasn't had the same vibe to her that she did in that first run. That first one was great. Talk about the WrestleMania in New Orleans, 34, I think it was, where Kurt Angle, Triple H, and Stephanie, go back and watch that show. They had the best match on the show. That was the most entertaining match on the entire show. You go to the next year at WrestleMania, they had the first ever women's main event with the triple threat match. She left, came back at the Rumble last year, and it's just not been the same. And I do not know why that's the case, other than maybe the passion. I hate to question anybody's passion because it's so unmeasurable and you have to know someone to really do that. So I don't know what the issue is, but they just haven't felt the same.
Yeah. You know what though? We'll talk about it too. I know we got to take a break. We'll talk about it on the other side. Stick around, guys. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
Every time I come here, I just have so much fun. I go home and we just can't stop talking about it till we come back.
The whole roster, top to bottom, star-studded guys.
We drove 12 hours from Atlanta just to come see One Missile for the World. It's one of the premier independent wrestling promotions across America.
It's a well-oiled machine, and there's a lot of good talent, which is very rare on in these shows to see so much talent on one show.
The organization that he has right now, I think and truly believe that it's one of the best organizations out there.
Brian Keith is 15 feet in the air! Brian Keith from up top!
A lot of fun, a lot of good athletes, good wrestlers, good family fun.
I've been around with a lot of the other independent groups, but this to me is a very, very top and first-class operation.
Reality of wrestling, one word, heart. And that's what Booker T is bringing to Houston, it's already special.
He's created opportunity, and he's creating great talent, as you guys well know.
Can't make it happen without these young people, without the fans coming out and supporting this thing. This is the flagship of Texas wrestling. This is the beginning of something big. It ain't gonna stop.
It's the best damn promotion in the country right now. The best independent promotion in the country. The best talent, the best coach and teacher that there ever was. And this is where it's at right here in the reality of wrestling. Believe that.
Oh my goodness! A Davidson driver!
It's very professional. It's a very good production. Booker's doing it right. I really enjoyed being a part of it.
Oh, what a rush!
The future of wrestling is reality of wrestling. That's the reality of the situation.
I'm Roddy Piper, and you're watching Reality of Wrestling. Be there, be square, babe.
Can you dig it, sucker?
You're listening to the Hall of Fame. Here's Booker T and Brad Gilmore.
Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. I'm Booker T, 6-time world champ with my man Brad Gilmore. We just chopping it up, talking about in-ring performances as far as the Shotzi Blackheart, Ronda Rousey match at the Survivor Series extravaganza, man. It was a spectacle on that night, man. But that match had a few hiccups. And the thing is, with this business, what I try to stress with my young guys is going through Reality of Wrestling. If you guys want to get into Reality of Wrestling, guys, just go to realityofwrestling.com and we'll sign you right up. We'll get you right in and get you right on your way to success. But what I talk to my my students about is knowing how to create your star. You know what I mean? Knowing how to draw the people in and make them feel like they are a part of you and your rise to success. The one thing about fans is they want to watch you perform. You know what I mean? They want to watch you perform at a high level, though. If you're not performing at a high level and you're just going out there doing spots back and forth and not capturing and captivating them and making them feel a certain way when they're watching it, you're just going to be just like everybody else on the card. That's what I mean about, knowing your playbook. What I mean by your playbook, of course, we got our plays that we're going to run, but that quarterback, his job is sometimes to fake that defense out, you know what I mean, and still be able to run that play, making that defense think something totally different. And that's what wrestling is, being able to have that misdirection factor. The fans, thinking is one thing going on and their body is feeling something at the same time, which totally takes that brain to another place and say, man, it's like when I used to go to watch wrestling at the Sam Houston Coliseum. Same thing as the fans today. I used to say, man, that last match sucked. But watch this match right here. This is going to be different, dog. It's Jake the Snake coming out. Jake finna give me something totally different than everybody else on the card. You know what I mean? Mr. Ebony, he come out, come on, man. Let's get rid of Mr. Ebony and get him out of here, man. But as soon as JYD walk out the curtain, oh, man, the crowd go crazy. The roof come off the place. You know what I mean? I always talk to young wrestlers and I say, it's a very, very thin line to why the people like you and why the people don't. And like you from a perspective to where they love you. They want to support you forever. Don't like you to the point to where they say, man, this guy, I can do it better than him. You know what I mean? Why is he doing this? That's what I mean. So you got to be able to understand making it to that main roster, what it means going out there and performing in front of 20, 30, 40, 50,000 people, the pressure of it. I always talk about it's not a game. This is a job. I could not wait to hear that 1, 2, 3, because I was so nervous that I was going to go out there and screw it up. I was so nervous that I was going to get the "you effed up" chant, "you effed up" chant. I was so nervous, that I made sure that never happened. Only one time, but Bagwell and Booker T on Monday Night Raw. That's another story.
Wow.
It happens. Well,
certain circumstances. I had Totally out of my hands. Totally out of my hands. My hands were tied in that situation. But you understand where I'm coming from.
No, I totally get it. But here's my thing about, because I'm like you or anyone else. When I see a match, you know if it's good or not, right? And when I first started working around reality wrestling, I remember there was a match in the ring. It was two lucha guys. I don't remember who they were. I'm so appreciative of any performer, right? Whether that be a stand-up comic, a singer, a dancer, or a pro wrestler. I always like to give people the benefit of the doubt. I remember watching a match that I knew wasn't great, but I said, "Oh, you know what? That wasn't a bad match." And the guy who was sitting next to me turned around. His name was Paul Cook. He was with us at the time, and he goes, "Well, then you don't know wrestling, right?" When I said it was a good match. So we know when we see a bad match, right? And look, make no mistake, the match on Saturday night was not great by any standard. What I don't like though is when the online people, it's one thing to say, "Hey, didn't like that match. That match sucked. No good." That's fine. When you go out and you attack, though, people like a Shotzi, who she got it real bad after Money in the Bank a few months ago, where she had like a issue with the ladder a couple times. I don't like when you do that. That's where I have a problem because we know, and you know better than anybody, you just said it. When you go out there, you are walking on a tightrope with no net. It's 20,000 strong. Some of the most hardest fans you're ever going to find is Boston, right? They could be mean, man.
Yeah.
And you're out there at the TD Garden. Survivor Series is a big stage. You're on the world stage on a premium live event. There's a lot of pressure there. So I don't like to attack a performer for putting in a less than stellar performance. However, the match was not good. And sometimes that's the reality of the situation.
You know what? I'm not afraid of constructive criticism.
Yeah, 100%.
Somebody tell me, just like I'm saying right now, you got to know your playbook. You got to know, what you're dealing with. You got to know how to create your star. One thing about this business, the backstage stuff, making the fans laugh, and the ha-ha and the vignettes, acting tough, all of that stuff is cool.
Yeah.
But you got to give me the payoff. And the payoff is the wrestling. The payoff has always been the wrestling. That's the performance is it. And a lot of people think today that, a lot of guys like back in the day slipped on a banana peel and became like great, like superstars. And I'm not talking about myself. I'm talking about guys like Shawn Michaels, who was barely, 200 pounds. And that was just sometime being 200 pounds.
Right.
Normally he was under 200 pounds, but he projected. His star was like so bright. His performances in the ring was flawless. And that's why he became, a great superstar. That's why people wanted to see him. That's why he was, had the moniker of Mr. WrestleMania, which he lost most of those WrestleMania matches, if not mostly all of those WrestleMania matches. I think he may have won one. But
he won the one against Brett. And that might be it.
Exactly my point. Exactly my point. But he was Mr. WrestleMania because he was going to give you the performance of a lifetime. That's why. And understand that when you're in that position, when you're on that show, it's a privilege. You know what I mean? To be in that position. And the thing is, if you get in that position and you find yourself not in that position ever again, you should know why.
Yeah.
Because your performance got to add up. It's got to be right. And a lot of people think today is just a game. You know what I mean? It's just we're just having fun. I always ask my students. Well, I wouldn't say my students, but I ask a lot of the young guys. How many times have you ever just wanted to whoop that guy's? What? How many times have you just wanted to walk out the curtain and just go out there and slap the crap out of this guy? How many times have you felt that way? If they give me the wrong answer, I'm gonna tell them, bro, you're not planning on being a star. You know what I mean? Because for me, my attitude was kill or be killed when going into that performance. It was if somebody, mouth got busted, it was just par for the course. You know, what we say is good for TV. You know what I mean? I'll be looking for a receipt if that was no, I'm serious. If that was to happen in a certain manner, you know what I mean? But you got to make yourself, it's got to be real to you in order for it to be real to those fans. And that's just the truth. And I can't explain it any clearer than that. Do not think you can go out here, especially today, in front of these fans, because all of them smart. All of them think that they know more than you do. You go out there and do a spot, they tell you the spot was wrong, you know, if you just was off a millimeter or not. You know what I mean? So you got to be super good these days in order to go out there and make those fans go, oh my God, when they leave that arena.
Yeah, you have to be on another level, and we got some of the another level matches, and I also think that if this match was just a match on a show where, you know, everything was okay, probably would have blended in the background a little bit more. But you're going up against 2 War Games matches plus a badass triple threat and a great singles match between Finn and AJ, so it stood out. Like, it definitely stood out. But, you know, look, that happens, Book. It happens. It happens. I think Survivor Series, though, overall was really fun. I enjoyed watching another premium live event.
I just want to talk about that match because everybody was, he never talk about anything that's going on in WWE. Well, I talked about it.
We said it. I will say this, too, before we have to take a break. I think Ronda would be much better served not as the SmackDown Women's Champion, but with her and Shayna as the women, or at least in the hunt for the women's tag team.
You know what? I feel that same way. I mean, both of them got that same thing going on now. They got the black stuff around their eyes.
Ryan.
Both of them. Yeah.
They got the MMA rough, rugged, ready to fight.
Yeah.
You know, appearance.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That's exactly what I was going to say. You guys stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute. Boom. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. We just chopping it up, talking a little Survivor Series, what's been going on that show over the weekend. Awesome show, man. I had to get out of the building a little earlier, but I watched a little bit of it on the app. I always say it's better to watch it on the app, you know what I mean, in the comforts of, you know, the bar.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Some people used to be like, hey, man, you want to go see the live? Like, I always would want to go to a live game. I want to see the Astros live. I want to see the Rockets live. And then I would always ask someone like,
you don't want to see the Rockets live now.
I do. I still support the team. But, you know, and I would always ask my dad, like, hey, you want to go? He's like, no, I'll just watch the game on TV. It's a better view, right? And I used to think, man, look, nothing's better than being live. Now that I've got a little bit older, I much prefer watching it on television.
It's a better view.
It's a much better view. Pops was always right. Like, he was right.
That crowd.
Oh, you know, it's great, man.
Especially when we're losing.
Oh, yeah.
Like the Texans, man.
Hey, man.
God,
they suck. Now they suck.
God, man, those guys they're just terrible. I mean, God, man, they're terrible.
And that's a thing to where they could all individually be great. I would never know. But as a team, collectively, the way they're coached, the way they're set up, it's awful. It's just awful. Now, how much of that is to blame on the coaching staff? I don't know. I know people are calling for Lovey's job. I think that
You know what? Lovey should be fired. You know what? I'm not gonna say that. Let's just say he work on his beard more than he work on that defense.
the beard's nice though. The beard is nice. I mean, we can't even score points. It would be one thing if we would.
Let me tell you something. The Houston Texans in the third quarter, they had ran for 30 total yards. In 3 quarters, man, they had ran for 30 total yards.
That's 10 a quarter, man. That's great.
Oh my God, man. I mean, that kid Hurts. In the first half, he had 175 yards.
Himself. It's ridiculous. It's despicable. But you know what? That's
Oh
the
my
way to go,
God! At
Fly.
one point in the game, Tua faded back. Right, guy had a dead beat on him, hit him. Tua bounced off of him. 3 more guys go to hit Tua, and they bump into each other, and they all fall.
It's like an episode of the Three Stooges.
I had to rewind it. I can't believe it. I had to call Charmel in to check it out because I thought I was seeing things. You know, I swear. I was like, what is going on here with this team, man?
It's ridiculous.
Oh, my God.
But you know what, Book? You know what? Coming up, speaking of Houston brands with big live events that are done all the time, December the 18th, a live Sunday premium live event from the Reality of Wrestling goes down. Our annual event to close out the calendar, Christmas Chaos. On social media earlier today, you posted that you were going to have a big announcement regarding Christmas Chaos. I haven't been privy to what exactly that announcement is. I think like everyone else watching us live on the Reality Wrestling YouTube channel, listening on ESPN Radio, and on their favorite podcast app, we all want to know, what is this announcement regarding the big annual event, Christmas Chaos, on December the 18th?
Hey, man, it's a big event going down. Of course, you know that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and Reality of Wrestling is something that I hold near and dear to my heart, even though after, just a couple of months back, I didn't come out on top in the 5-on-5 match, Team Charmel versus Team Booker. And there's reasons for that. You know what I mean? I don't want to give any excuses or anything like that. But I know when I walked out the curtain that night, I didn't have a good feeling. I didn't have a good feeling at all. From the photos that was posted on social media, I'm gonna tell you right now, I know the dragon. I mean, I know the frame. I know the chassis. Everything looked all greased up. You know what I mean? But the engine wasn't quite right on that night. I was dealing with a knee injury coming into that match. Like I said, I know I looked great, but I was dealing with a knee injury, and we didn't come out on top. But I do know on the 18th that the Heat, the tag team that I formed, the tag team that I manage, the Heat, the tag team that I advise, they're in a predicament right now. One man down, Matty Ice, went down with a bad injury, shoulder injury. And my thing is, I learned from the old schoolers, man. I learned from the old schoolers. I remember my brother and I in Dallas, Texas, the Ebony Experience, taking on the Blackbirds. And we had a hell of a feud with the Blackbirds. Iceman King Parsons, Action Jackson. What a tag team taking on the Ebony Experience. And I tell you, those guys, they got the best of of the Ebony Experience. And then it was time for us to come back and get our payback, to get our just due, to get some redemption. And Iceman King Parsons said, nah, man, I'm not available on this night. You know what I mean? I'm not doing it. And you know what Manny Fernandez said? Manny Fernandez said, get the hell out of my building. If you want something done, you got to do it yourself. If I got to do it myself, that's what I will do. So coming up, December 18th, man down. But a man told me a long time ago, one monkey don't stop no show. Guess who's going to be taking his place? That's right. I will be stepping back inside the square circle. Reality of wrestling. Christmas chaos. And I'm going to tell you right now, a bunch of these going to be going down in between. I'm going to be hitting the gym hard and heavy. I'm on the bike. I'm hanging and banging and slanging in the zone. So get some, want some. The 18th, guys, don't miss out. Damn it, don't get shut out. Because it's going to be on. It's going to be on at the Booker T. It still got my name on it. At the Booker T. World's Gym Arena. And like I said, when you look in my eye, when I walk out that curtain, rest assured, somebody's going to get hurt.
Wow, that's big news. That's big news. So originally, the match, for people who are maybe not aware, it was going to be the Heat, who are the brand new Reality Wrestling Tag Team Champions. Mysterious Q, Gaspar Hernandez, Matty Ice is in the collective as well. Matty Ice down with a shoulder injury. Gaspar Hernandez is going to be on assignment in Japan, and it leaves Mysterious Q without a partner to face Fly Def for those tag titles. And so you're going to step up in the tag team championship picture. Booker T, one of the greatest tag team wrestlers of all time.
Representing the Heat. Because the Heat normally would take care of this. The Heat normally would take care of this little piece of business. But I'm going to tell you right now, couldn't have a better partner than the Mysterious Q. And I'm going to tell you right now, I know a lot of people think, out of sight, out of mind. You know what I mean? Time off is your worst enemy. I get that. I understand that. You know what I mean? But with somebody like the Mysterious Q, all I got to do, man, is like the great Tom Brady of old. All I got to do is just go out here and quarterback this thing, man. All I got to do is go out here and make sure we make the right plays at the right time and score at the end of the night. The new Reality of Wrestling Tag Team Champions, baby. And you know what we're going to do after that? We're going to turn those titles over to their rightful owners, the Heat.
That's right. Well, it's going to go down December the 18th at the Booker T World Gym Arena. Tickets available at realitywrestling.com. If you want to see Booker T and Mysterious Q, a dream team, if I do say so myself, get back in the ring and do it for the first time ever. You're teaming with somebody at the Reality Wrestling not named Stevie Ray, right? Not the Harlem Heat. This is your first tag match since then. So excited for that. Hey, Book, we almost got to take a break real quick. Let's give a shout out to you all right over there? LTO Charlie 2.0, who said, Booker, my all-time hero. Today is my birthday. Can you please greet my name is Charlie. My name, Carlos Enrique Quispel from Peru. So give a shout out to Carlos and Charlie.
Carlos, Charlie. Big shout out, man. Hey, man, keep representing and checking out the Hall of Fame, man. Keep getting your champagne wishes and caviar dreams, baby. Oh, yeah, most definitely. We got to take a quick break.
We do.
Stick around, guys. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
Can you dig it, sucker?
You're listening to the Hall of Fame. Here's Booker T and Brad Gilmore.
Hey guys, this is Booker T, 6-time world champ and 2-time WWE Hall of Famer, inviting you to check out the official podcast feed of the Booker T Roast. Episodes of the Roast will be debuting the month of October, and they are guaranteed to be good. Subscribe and follow the feed now on your favorite podcast app and leave a rating and review. Now, can you dig that, sucker?
Can you dig it, sucker?
You're listening to the Hall of Fame. here's Booker T and Brad Gilmore.
Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, man. We got any super chats as well?
We do. I want to pull these up real quick. This is from Pinky Cabin, who said, how do you feel about long matches on Raw and SmackDown? Every match is long now, and sometimes it drags on. Do you agree shorter matches need to come back?
Yeah, I agree 100%. Shorter matches need to come back. I believe in the job match. I wouldn't say the job match, the enhancement match, the get over match, whatever you want to call them. Those guys were very, very essential back in the day. And I talk about building that star. That was the way we built that star back in the day. If we didn't have, the Cuban assassins, guys like that, the Brady Boones, the world, the Dale Wolves of the world back then, man, we wouldn't have been as big a stars as we became. That's why I give those guys a lot of credit. A lot of those guys were literally like Hall of Famers, as far as knowing how to go out there and put somebody over. Those guys knew their freaking jobs. I remember my Hall of Fame speech. I thanked Cuban Assassin, for making, when me and my brother went in, I thanked the Cuban Assassin for being one of those guys who made me and my brother look good week in and week out. I tell you, man. So yeah, long matches definitely can take you out of the show a little bit because every match is competitive. And I don't care, like I say, for me, when I was a youngster coming up watching wrestling, I didn't care if Jake the Snake was wrestling a guy that I didn't know. I didn't care if, JYD was wrestling a guy that I didn't know. I just wanted to see JY do the thump, and I wanted to see Jake do that DDT and that short arm clothesline. I didn't care. And then when they finally fought, Ted DiBiase, it was like, oh man, this is gonna get real here now, because both of these guys are players. Ain't nobody no pushovers here. So yeah, it gives you that feeling to when you're watching, two guys go one-on-one that you feel like, can go toe-to-toe with each other. It gives it a bigger feeling, I think, anyway.
Yeah, I think that there should be a balance. If every match is short on a 3-hour show, you're gonna have a lot of matches. But if you have maybe an opening and a close, or opening, middle, and close, or I don't know, maybe the main event doesn't even have to be that long. It just has to be satisfying. But you do need a couple of lengthy matches, especially for that amount of television time that you have to produce weekly.
Well,
weekly.
Let's think about this for a minute. If you got a guy and he's making his debut on the show, and he goes out there and he have a 15-minute match.
Yeah. It doesn't look great on him.
Well, he doesn't look like he's that tough if he can if this guy took him 15 minutes. You know what I mean? And he was nowhere in a star role, you know what I mean, where he was at the main event or anything, and a guy's taking him 15 minutes. You know what I mean? So yeah, I totally agree with being able to maybe change the format up a little bit.
Yeah, you got to switch it up here and there. I believe, did we have another super chat? I saw another one here, I thought. Yes. Calitonio says Roman versus KO is Sammy's turn for his real family. Oh, okay. That could be possible. Sammy and KO got to do something together.
I mean,
got to do something.
I mean, they got to do something together. I mean, at some point in time, I'm sure they are, but I think keeping those two apart right now is the way to go. Yeah.
Well, I wanted to ask your opinion on something. To switch gears from WWE to talk about AEW. Because we got to rile the AEW audience up a little bit, or it wouldn't be the Hall of Fame.
AEW fans going to be wanting to kill me after today. So let's get in it.
So, obviously, everyone knows what's been going on with the Elite, CM Punk. We don't have to relitigate all of that. But the Elite made their return at the Full Gear pay-per-view, and we talked about the FCM Punk chants that emanated from the crowd there. Then on Dynamite this week, Dynamite was where? AEW's headquarters, essentially. Chicago, Illinois. Home of CM Punk. And the Elite was on the show against the Death Triangle in their Best of 7 series. And Elite goes out there. Let me actually say this. Prior to, Kenny Omega did an interview with Sports Illustrated who said, look, we can't talk about what happened. We're not going to talk about what happened. people just need to let it go and move on. Okay. That's what he said before. Then he goes out, he and the rest of the Elite, the Young Bucks in the match, and they make several references to not only CM Punk, the backstage brawl that occurred, his last match, and other things. Kenny Omega, I believe, bit one of the members of the Death Triangle on the arm, similar to what rumored Ace Steel did to Kenny Omega. Matt Jackson blew a buckshot lariat spot, which CM Punk did in his match against Jon Moxley. And Kenny Omega hit the GTS, which is CM Punk's finishing move, all in Chicago.
But he thanked the guy who originated.
He thanked Kenta.
Yeah, that's another jab.
Yeah, he thanked Kenta on social media. And the crowd definitely showered them with, there were some FCM Punk chants in Chicago, which I was surprised at. But there was also a lot of F the Elite chants. Now, people were mad at them. They called them petty. They said, you're opening this wound over and over again. I personally think that the Elite had no choice but to do this. You're in a hostile territory where everyone's going to be thinking about Punk, Chicago, the Elite, the stuff. Why? And you're the heels of the match. Why not lean into it? And at least have a couple of references there to really get the fans fired up. But what do you think? Do you think that they crossed a line? Should they not have done anything? Was it right, wrong, indifferent? Kind of what do you think?
Man, I'm perplexed on that situation right there. Just because I don't think it was anything tasteful about it.
No.
I don't think rehashing, what happened a couple of months ago, opposed to letting it go away, is making anything better as far as that company goes. And if anybody, if Tony Khan knew about it and signed off on it, and they know CM Punk's not coming back, they probably going to be thinking about moving their headquarters.
After start running all those shows in Chicago.
Exactly, after this last show here. So I don't see what the smarts were in going out there and doing something like that. Leaning into it just because of it's where CM Punk is from, and you're going to get some heat. You know what I mean? And you can't take the heat. It's almost like you hit me, I'm going to hit you back. You know what I mean? Two rights don't make a wrong. I just didn't, for me, it was just distasteful.
I get it being distasteful. I get it being petty. I get it being tasteless, classless, whatever you want to say. Just for me, you always talk about the moment, right?
Yeah.
And once a moment passes, you can never get it again. And for the Elite's first match back in Chicago, after the whole CM Punk thing, the entire crowd is waiting for them to come out so that they can shower them with a chorus of boos and F the Elite chants. I mean, you're almost giving the crowd what they want by doing it. You're satisfying the audience because you're.
Wait a minute. Were the Young Bucks heels?
Yeah, they were kind of.
Well, that's what I mean. Okay, if they're heels, it's easy for them to go heel on the city without bringing CM Punk into play just because they're getting the CM Punk chant. They're going to be heels. They're going to get booed anyway. So leaning into it makes it just rehash what happened at the Scrum, which does nothing for that company.
It does nothing for the company. I'm not in disagreement, but I'm not as mad about it as other people.
As well as I'm sure it didn't do anything for the match, but make it ha-ha. Just stupid.
Yes. Everything.
Fighting the guy that's stupid. You know what I mean? Doing a GTS just to throw that in CM Punk's face, and then to, thank the guy, Kenta for letting him use it. It's like, I don't even want to say the word on my show, but it's like, some females, some girl stuff. It's like, it sounds like some little kid stuff.
It's not. It's definitely high school, mean girl, clueless vibes. I totally get it, and everything you just said, I agree with wholeheartedly. I just think within the structure and the context of the match, I didn't mind it as much as most people blew up about it. I understood what they were going for, whether it hit the mark or not, whether it added to the match or not. That's up for debate. To me,
it's like somebody's like you said, man, you love the Ric Flair spot when he faked a heart attack, and I go,
I didn't love it, but
but I'm just, and I go, well, I didn't like it, You know what I mean? Because, certain things, I mean, I think you can make your point without going, going to a certain degree. And I think the stuff with CM Punk and the Young Bucks, it should have been over that night. Okay. It should have been over. These guys been suspended. And then they still want to come back and play games. Like there again, it's not a job. They're having fun.
It's a game.
And that's my take on that. And people can write that and they can say whatever they want about it. That's my take on it. I just think it's childish stuff. I mean, I've had beef, with guys in the business before, you know what I mean? And we handle it, we squash it, we move on, and that's the way it used to be. But now it's different, and now it's different because ain't nobody really getting their asses whooped. There's no real consequences, no real repercussions, no real men running around. That's got a lot to do with it. It's no locker room etiquette. You know what I mean?
I think that's bigger. I think the last thing you just said is the biggest point, right? I mean, there's probably the coat of arms, the honor amongst thieves, if you will, doesn't seem to exist too much anymore. I don't know. I understand everything you said, and I'm not saying I loved the spot. I'm saying I understood why they leaned into it, and I'm not going to fault them too much for doing it. Is it great for the long-term effects of the company? Probably not. Does it mean that CM Punk's coming back like some people are speculating? Absolutely not. Was it childish and was it haha? Yeah.
Everything I said was right. Then
I said nothing you said was wrong.
That's what I said.
That. I said nothing you said was wrong. I understood why they did it. Is all I'm saying, and I didn't mind it as much as most.
I don't understand why they did it.
I totally get why they did it.
Because
totally.
I mean, okay. I mean,
like for instance, let me ask you this because I wanted to ask you something about Will Smith, and we'll do it on the other break. But Chris Rock has a special coming up in January that's going to be live on Netflix. When he walks out on that stage, what's the first thing everyone's going to be thinking about? Is he going to address the slap, right?
Yeah.
And I guarantee you that he will. Because he knows it's on his audience's mind.
Well, but okay, now think about it this way right here. He could have already addressed it. He could have been playing games with it. He could have been on social media posting memes.
He could have been.
Exactly my point.
Well, we'll see what happens because he knows there's a big check attached to this special, I'm sure.
I mean, it could be a big check. I mean, if he wanted to check, he could have sued Will Smith and got a big check. So I don't think it's about money or anything. What I'm saying is the way he's handled this situation has been the way a man handle his business, not in the public.
Mm-hmm.
Simple. And making jokes and making memes when I got a company to run. When I'm trying to, put on a wrestling show and you want to remind the people of something that went on that I want to forget about. Okay. For me being Tony Khan, if I was Tony Khan, that's not something that I want to be rehashing.
Agreed.
Okay. From a boss and that kind of stuff is going on.
Well,
I'm hot as hell.
Remember, they are bosses.
No, okay, whatever. I'm just
They're the VPs. I'm just saying.
I'm just giving you, the real.
No, I wouldn't appreciate it either.
If I was Tony Khan, after being belittled pretty much in a press scrum with CM Punk, the last thing I want people thinking about is CM Punk from an in-ring perspective. And until CM Punk come back, if he comes back, that's it. Now I could be wrong.
Hey, we can pick up more of the convo. We got to take a quick break here, folks.
Stick around, guys. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
And if that wasn't enough, you took me on that vacation just to cover it all up.
You wanted to go on that vacation. You wanted to go on that vacation for years.
And you took me just to hide your antics. What kind of person does that?
What of it?
You know what? But I have the answer. Oh, yeah. We are going to choose teams and wrestle for control of this company. Team Booker versus Team Sharmell.
Team Booker versus Team Sharmell.
Yeah.
My team will crush your team any day.
In your
the hell
dreams.
you talking about?
In your
I got
dreams.
gas for every guy in this company. I own them. They work for me. And you know what? You know what? If you want that, if you really want that,
spit it out.
You got it.
Good.
And I tell you what, I'm gonna fire all y'all asses. All right? Soon as I win, Sam, your ass is out. Let's go, Gaspar.
I am so sorry. No one who is in charge of a company should speak like that. That's why, board, I'm so thankful I have your support.
Can you dig it, sucker?
You're listening to the Hall of Fame. Here's Booker T and Brad Gilmore.
Excuse me. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame. Where we going now, man? You got me hot on that, but
I know I got you riled up. About it.
Hey, I'm just keeping it real, man. Just keeping it real.
No, and just to go back to it on we were talking about CM Punk and the elite thing. Like, I guess my question is, and this is why I said I don't mind it so much, right? Is because if I think about what my audience has on their mind, it's only right for me to address it, right? Like, to address it in some fashion, because then you're almost, it's almost a double-edged sword, right? If the elite went out there and did nothing, just did the regular match, boom, 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 whatever, you almost took a moment away from the fans that they were wanting. They wanted that moment. They wanted the ability. And you could take it away. I mean, if it's better for business, I guess I'm just thinking about it.
The fans wanted what moment?
They wanted it to be addressed in some fashion, because it's the elephant in the room.
No, I mean, I'm just saying.
No, I'm not saying they needed that.
Are you saying they needed it to be addressed on the show, on the wrestling show, in a match?
I think so. Saying? I think no, maybe not. It could be a promo. Something had to be said.
I don't think, me personally,
as a performer,
I don't
that's what I think.
Look here, as a businessman, I don't need that to be talked about ever again in my.
As a businessman,
as a company owner, I mean, I don't need that's like opening the curtain to the fans to talk about something that really happened for real in a wrestling match in a world that's not. That makes no sense.
I know, but
that makes zero sense.
No, I get. I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying. I'm not talking about it from a business standpoint.
No, I'm talking about it from an all around standpoint. That makes zero sense to bring that elephant back into the room to talk about it.
No, they didn't have to bring it back in the room. It was in the room.
Well, the thing is,
it's in the room.
The thing is, we want it out of the room. We don't want to talk about it anymore. If I'm Tony Khan, and for
I agree with that.
These guys to go on my show to go out there and make fun of a situation that was relatively serious, because CM Punk may not be coming back. It's not smart in any way, shape, form.
But everything you just said, I 1000% agree with, and couldn't agree with more.
Agree with it, and say, well, but it was great that they go out there and do something.
I didn't say it was great that what they did. I said I didn't mind. No, it does make sense, and I'll tell you why. Because as if I look at it from Tony Khan's perspective, I'm livid about it. I don't want it. I'd say no comment in the press conferences. I don't want it addressed at all. Kenny Omega said that, hey, we should move past it in the interview earlier that day. I'm not talking from a business standpoint at all. I'm not. Wait. Let me finish real quick.
We need to go past it and then go out and do something like that.
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
Well, this is all I'm saying. This is all that I'm saying. I'm not saying I like it. I said I didn't mind it as much as most people, because I understand what was going on in their mind as performers. You have an audience who wants this addressed, and you
just said it. You just said it. That's the problem. As performers, and when you're performing on my show, it's a script.
I agree.
Okay, and when you go out there and perform, that's when things get pretty hectic. That company could be closed down in the next couple of years, and these guys are going to be wondering what the hell happened. And it's because they're going out there playing games and not understanding what this stuff is really about.
Agreed. Like 1000% agree. And I guess I'm
and then we'll look back on it a couple of years from now and go, Book, you was right.
Well, no, I can say it right now. Book, you're right about everything you're saying.
I'm just saying because this is not a game. And there was someone in the comment just a little while ago said not to take wrestling so serious. Well, I'm gonna tell you right now.
Well, I don't agree with that.
No. And it's a lot of people think that way. Well, you can go out and have fun. Who cares if it's just wrestling? The guys that think that way, they never make it to the top level. They never make a lot of money. They never got a bank account to where they could actually relax and not think about going out there and busting their behinds on the independent scene. I'm serious. Guys that think like that it's just a game. None of those guys won a world championship. None of them.
Well, we always reference that interview, and I got love for Dwight Howard, but we always reference that interview that you had with Dwight Howard, where you asked him, is this your job or is it a game, right? And he said, "Oh, this is a game that I play." And where's Dwight Howard now? He's playing basketball in Taiwan. All due respect to Dwight.
No. All due respect my behind. There's no respect him going play in Taiwan with those little bitty guys. There's no respect there.
I don't know if they're little bitty.
I saw how he tried to get on, Shaquille O'Neal about what he said about him. What Shaquille said was true. When I said,
I didn't see that.
Dwight Howard, is this is this a job or is this a game? He said it's a game. And he's taking it like it's a game. Every place he's going to, they could be losing. He's laughing. He's smiling. It's fun. You know what I mean? Michael Jordan, when he was losing, you didn't want to talk to him.
Somebody was getting hit.
Bottom line. So when I see these guys, people make comments like that, you don't know. You've never been there. And in order to make it to the next level, you got to have a killer instinct. You got to be able to go out there and take it. Because it's not going to be given to you. And if you think that's the way this business is, it's fun and everybody's having fun, the guys that's having fun, their ass is going to be looking for a job at the end of the day. The guy that's handling this like a business, like Miz, he's going to be living in a big house, in a mansion. Bottom line.
Facts. Yeah, I mean, you have to take your craft seriously. And look, I have never been a big proponent of the Young Bucks style. We talked about the Young Bucks actually, I think last week, and I said I've come to appreciate what they have on the show. If every match is like their match, it's not a great show. If you have one like that, it's okay. I've never been a big fan of their antics either, and I'm still not saying that I'm a fan of what happened in Chicago. I'm not saying that I enjoyed it and it made my night. All I said is I don't mind it as much as most people because I understand their thought. I get where they were coming from.
Those guys, I can't say I get their thought. I can't say I get where they're coming from or anything like that. But one thing I can say is the Young Bucks, when they go out, the fans like what they do. The fans get off into it. The fans are entertained. And if everybody knew how to create that and do it their own way, because everybody's not going to be able to be the Young Bucks, okay? You might have a chance at making some real money in this business. You might have a chance at making it to the next level of this business. But if you're thinking anything outside of that, I give Young Bucks a lot of credit as far as being able to go out there and sustain that time that they're out there and keep that crowd totally in tune and motivated to what they're doing. Trust me, they do a whole lot of work to actually keep that crowd into it. They're working their butts off. They're bumping like crazy.
Crazy.
Guys are taking some of the craziest bumps you've ever seen, but they do it. So I if everybody can figure that out, I'm sure the Young Bucks bank account look pretty well. Okay, I'm sure
I'm sure it does.
I'm sure it does.
Sure doing well.
You know what I mean? So if you can figure that out, you're okay. Everybody's not going to be able to be the Young Bucks. But like I say, as far as the antics of bringing CM Punk back into the arena because we're in Chicago, there again, I'm not going to be able to say I can agree with that ever, just because I'm a boss. And I know if I had a show and we were in Chicago and I was running AEW, that would not be written in the script.
No.
Okay, I'm just
and I don't think it was probably written in the script.
Well, because there
I don't think it was.
Because there is no script.
And therein lies the problem.
Bottom line.
Therein lies the problem. And again, no matter if you liked or disliked what they did in the 6-man tag match, to even have the ability to have the freedom to go out there and make that decision shows that there's a lack of structure where one, the idea at first was, oh, we can benefit from this, but now we're seeing the opposite side of that, right? To where, yeah, it's cool that we have this creative freedom. However, when you try to control a show, you can't control a show with that much creative freedom.
There's a problem. There's a problem.
It's a problem.
It's a big problem.
I mean, because
like I say, if I was in charge of that show, going back into Chicago, that would not have been written into the show.
Right.
And it's just as simple as that. It's just as simple as that. There is no control. There is no leadership. And I've said that before. And, you know, whatever happened is going to happen, you know, and it's not going to be my fault. I just want to get that out there. I'm just speaking facts as far as what I'm seeing. But go ahead before we got to get out of here.
Well, I was going to say, we have like 2 minutes left. And we can talk about it maybe more on Wednesday or Thursday show. But Mandy Rose wants to go back to the main roster. Just real quick, is it time for her to go to the next level, or does she still have more to do in NXT? She doesn't seem to think so.
I don't know, man. If I was her, I would want to stick around NXT for a little bit longer. Run to the main roster. It's going to be different. It's going to be different. And it's going to be all about what we just talked about. All about what we just talked about. You're creating your star. You know, being able to go out there and be one of those talent to where the fans can't wait to see you perform. I know one thing. I bet you Daniel Bryan, he never had any problems holding the crowd's attention.
Mm-mm.
You know, he never had a problem with that. He never had a problem with the crowd, yes, 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 and him all the way to the ring, giving him that chant, giving him that extra 6-man, you know, perspective to what he needed, you know, to, you know, power him through that match or anything. That's what I'm talking about. Everybody don't know how to do that. Everybody can't do that. Everybody doesn't understand what that really truly means. And if Mandy Rose is to make it to the main roster, she better understand when she do get into a main event match, she's going to have to go out there and perform. Pretty Face is just not going to do it. And that's just fact. You're in the Hall of Fame, guys. I want to thank everybody for sticking around, getting your champagne wishes, caviar dreams. Because that's what it's all about, man. It's all about the people. Hey, man, Bradley, as always, man, appreciate you. I got some chicken on right now. Got to go get it. But guys, again, we appreciate you, and we'll see y'all in a couple of days. Peace. We out.